Hello, Mr. Gheorghiu. How are you?
Thank you. And you?
Good also. Today we have a special occasion. We have a celebration.
100 episodes. Yeah.
Yes. We have 100 videos,
Yeah.
chess games on your channel, and we'll celebrate with a cake
Thank you. Very nice.
and also with a special video
Some
with pictures.
photos, yeah.
Yes, with pictures from those special times when we
From
were
these
young
times, yes,
and
yes. A long time ago.
long time ago, playing with great names of chess and beautiful, having beautiful results also.
Thank you. It's a very nice idea.
All right. So we have here a picture where.
Well, this is the first ones. The first on the left is the official photo when I became world champion in 1963. Well, junior world champion.
Okay.
And then on the right side is the first photo from the Romanian championship when I became a Romanian champion when I was 16 years old. Then down on the left, my colleagues at the high school in Ploiești when I came back from the Romanian championship. And then on the right side, the official photo from 61, the first World Junior Championship, when unfortunately I didn't become world champion because I had lack of experience and I made a very big mistake in the pre-last round. But anyway, 2 years later, I succeeded.
Here you were vice champion.
I was only number 2, vice world champion.
Not bad.
So, well, it was only because of lack of experience. I was leading the whole tournament, and finally, I made a small, very big mistake, and I had to wait two more years, until 63. Here again, I was showing some games from the Romanian Championship then in 1960. After Simon, I think, in Ploiești, I think it was. And down, it was my first meeting with the ex-world champion Spassky, Boris Spassky. He was also young enough. It happened in Marianske Laza in 62.
He was
student world championship for teams, the team world championship. And our meeting was very important for me because if I could have a draw against him, I had my first norm for international master. It was very important in that time. So finally, the game was very sharp, very nice, and we had the draw finally. And the Soviet team won the championship. It was normal because they had a very strong team. But for me, it was very important and a very good game because I could have the norm. I mean, I am norm.
Nice.
So here again, it was a long time ago in 61, both. Down we have the photo against the Indonesian champion, and it happened in Holland in 61 during the first World Championship that I played.
From Indonesia?
Yeah, well, it was in Holland, but he was representing Indonesia, and then finally he became a Dutch champion, later on. Yes,
okay. Yeah. So Leong Tang.
He had such a name. Tan, I think, was his name, but okay, he was a good player. And upstairs we have a very interesting photo because it was our first game, Gheorghiu against myself. Gheorghiu, he was representing Georgia. And we had a match against Georgia. It was a very important match. And it was the only time when I was representing Romania as a junior. I was Romanian senior champion, but I was playing like a junior. And finally, because of this, we succeeded to win the match. It was very important. And we met a lot of times afterwards. He became also leading grandmaster between the first 10, 15 in the world. We met in a lot of important championship in the United States, Olympiads and so on.
Nice.
And here we have my first Olympiad in Varna in 62, upstairs, the first photo.
Is the one where also Bobby Fischer played?
Fischer played also, but for him was the second Olympiad, because he started to play Olympic Games in Leipzig 2 years before that, in 1916. And here we didn't meet, because we met finally 4 years later in Havana.
So
This
here
was in
is
this
also
was in
your father here?
Yeah, that was my father there in the center, and the two persons on the left side
These two?
are the very important trainers of the time. Urseanu was my last important trainer, and the trainer of the Olympic team also. And upstairs, the tall one is Corvin Radovic was my first important trainer. He was coming with me to that championship from Holland in '61. I mean, he was a very good friend. But unfortunately, they don't live anymore. But they were two of the best trainers that Romanian team had, in all this time ever. And down again, we have an important game from the first Junior World Championship in Holland. Also, down again it was a guy from Singapore, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And these are also two instructive games from the Olympiad in Varna in '62 against the Grandmaster Barca, the first one up, the photo from upstairs, and then against the Grandmaster from Germany, from East Germany, Mali. And finally, in '62, I had another norm for international master, and it was a very good Olympic Games for me also. But for our team, so and so, but okay, the result was all right.
You had a draw with the Soviet player, right? With
Well, that was another tournament.
was
'62
another.
with Spassky was the
Not
world
Spassky, the other one.
with Keres, yes.
Yes, with
Keres.
Keres.
And it was my second international master norm, and it was the most important one. There I became international master after this Olympiad from '62. Yeah. And here finally we had also very important photos, because this one on the left is one of the official photos when I became world champion, junior world champion. And the other two are two photos from Sinaia. In Sinaia, we played the student world championship for teams, and we had a very good chance to become world champions with the Romanian team. Finally, we didn't succeed to win the title, but
you had a great performance. You had a very good performance.
I had the best performance on the first board, and during that game against the Soviet champion upstairs, against Savon. Yeah, okay. I met my wife in Sinai in 65. Yes.
Oh, nice. She
was
nice. In the
during
pub?
The game. Yeah,
during the game.
She was there. I mean, with some other friends and so on. And afterwards, we could speak a little bit and so on. It was our first encounter like this, our first meeting. Yeah.
So it's a very special
first impression. And of course, it was very important because I could win the game against Savon. Very good game. And if we could win generally, I mean, the team, if we could win against the Soviets, probably it was a very good chance to win the title. But the match finished 2-2. I mean, they succeeded to win the last game, and therefore they became the world champions. The Soviets. Well, they had a very strong team anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like many years also after that.
Yeah. Well, here, these three photos are the photos, they represent, myself as as the junior world champion. And there on the right, together with Master Urseanu, I mean, my trainer, the moment when I became the first Maestro Emeritus Sportului, that it's almost impossible to translate in English. Is like in French is Maître Emeritus du Sport. It's almost the same like in Romanian. Yeah. And
I believe it's the highest level
yeah,
in Romania.
In sports, is the highest level.
For Romania,
more than this is impossible in Romania. Yeah. Yeah. And downstairs, the last photo downstairs is the first time that I played as a junior world champion, the Romanian championship here downstairs. Yeah. Yeah.
So you are a star for the
Well, I
Romanian
won the
chess.
championship, but it was the first moment that I could represent myself as the world champion, the junior world champion in the Romanian championship. So it was a nice moment. And these probably are the most important photos because they represent the moments when I, the last moments of the championship when they gave you the crown and so on, the official cup and so on, and the banquet and so. But it was a little bit sad because exactly then it was the assassination of President Kennedy, and it was a little bit sad, and you couldn't have the moments that everybody expected, because the atmosphere was like this,
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a very nice souvenir, of course. Yeah. And the person at my right side is the most important opponent. No, the other one.
Here.
Yeah, is the international master from Czechoslovakia, Janata. That it was a race between me and him, and finally I could become the world champion. He was number 2, and we had a match. And after this match, Romania had the first ever, world junior champion. Yeah.
So this was during the celebration at the end.
Yeah, during the celebration. It was the last moments of the championship, the last night of the championship. Yeah. Here, the moment when I became grandmaster, it was in after the 2 norms in the Olympic Games from Tel Aviv and the European team championship from Hamburg in '65. And finally, these 3 photos represent the 3 different moments when I became, the first Romanian grandmaster.
Oh,
yeah,
nice. So
here are some
nice years, one after
success after success.
Yes,
yeah, I
success
told you
after
it
success.
was very quick because until 1916, almost nobody knew myself because I was a very normal player like this. After winning the Romanian championship when I was 16 years old, everything went very quickly because between 60 and 20, I had a lot of successes, and I became year after year. I took all the norms and all the titles, international master, grandmaster, and Maestro Emeritus Sportului. That means in Romania, let's say. Yeah. No. Well, here we have my first important tournament abroad in very important tournament in Mar del Plata in '65. And the first photo upstairs, we had 3 world junior champions, Pano, Bilitsky, and myself. Bilitsky is the last one on right. Pano the second there,
Yes.
And here myself on the left side. Down we have the well-known grandmaster from Argentina. He was coming from Poland. And he was representing Argentina all these years, and he was a true legend in chess, neither.
Yeah.
And we have also a very important variation in chess, which is called after him, the neither variation in Sicilian. Yeah.
Yes.
Until now, it's like this, And again, on the right side, there is a photo from the Romanian Championship when I won the Romanian Championship with a very big margin, almost 4 points or something like a very big difference between first and second place. And it was also a very good occasion to play the championship, being world champion and the grandmaster.
Grandmaster, yes.
Yeah. Here upstairs we have the first time that I was playing in Hastings. That is one of the most important tournaments in Europe and in the world, and it's like this even now. Very important tournament. And finally, it was a very big success because Keres was winning the tournament. He was a legendary grandmaster in the chess history. Afterwards, it was Grandmaster Glioric from Yugoslavia and myself, the first three.
The first three.
Yeah, and then down again the Romanian championship that again representing the Romanian chess, being the first grandmaster and so on. And finally on the left side, my wife and myself discussing at home between ourselves about chess and about theater. My wife was a theater actress, and she was, also playing a little bit of chess, not very much, but a little bit. She understood a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, finally here, these are really probably the most important photos because they represent Bobby Fischer, probably the greatest, name in history of chess. During our game in Havana, when I was playing him, and it was the pre-last round of the Olympiad. And finally, the game was the biggest surprise of the tournament. I succeeded to win the game, and it was considered, of course,
He
big
only
surprise.
lost one game in this tournament,
Yeah,
right?
he lost against myself, and he played the fantastic tournament. He won 14 games, made 2 draws, and lost to myself. Well,
but I see here so many spectators.
Well, it
they
was
were
like
allowed
this.
to stay like that.
It wasn't very nice because you could feel the presence of the spectators very near, But it was very big interest. Even the Cuban government with Fidel Castro and all the others, I mean, his brother and the whole government. They were watching only the games of Fischer and the games of the Soviet delegation. It was every round was like this, And here, of course, everybody was very surprised to see that Bobby didn't win because usually he came and he won the game.
Yeah.
Of the day. Well, it happened that this time he lost,
But so Fidel Castro was also present here in the room.
Yeah, he was, but it was not exactly this moment. This moment was probably the last 15 minutes of the game or something, and then the public was coming very quickly, to see what happens because the surprise was there. I mean,
I see. So when actually Fidel came, actually was much.
Of course, big respect.
People. Yes.
Big respect, no. No, it was nice. The Olympiad from Havana was very nicely organized. Probably one of the best ever, And we had a lot of very interesting moments, very nice souvenirs. I mean, in chess, yeah.
Yeah.
And, we don't speak about economics and the rest, But of course,
after this game, after this tournament, you received a special
I
gift from Fidel Castro.
Fidel
right?
was also very surprised, and of course, and finally he wanted to give me a special prize. I mean, he offered me a special set of chess with his signature and so on, visit card and so. And we had a very good relationship, personal relationship like this, because he considered this. I mean, Fidel and the rest of the government, he made from this victory a special occasion to celebrate, the victory against the system. I mean,
the communist system against the capitalist system.
Yeah, again. Well, this of course wasn't the case, but it was like this in this time. Yeah.
But you also said after you left Cuba, the Cubanese government sent you this chess table?
Well, they sent me the table, but unfortunately, the table didn't arrive.
Didn't reach you.
Yeah. Finally, they found the table between some other very nice chess collections. The Ceausescu's home in Bucharest. Well,
Oh.
it doesn't matter, after such a long time. But it's important just to mention
Yes,
the idea, Yeah,
just to know
yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
All right.
Well, here, of course, uh, upstairs we have my wife and myself receiving this special chess set from Fidel Castro upstairs,
Mm-hmm.
and down we have a photo from the Olympic Games of Havana during my game against the Yugoslav Grandmaster Gligoric. Down, yeah. This is also a very nice game that I could win, and they took this photo when I was thinking about the last moves and so on.
Nice.
Well, this was the photo from upstairs is taken during the Romanian Championship. We spoke something with one of the participants and with the chief arbiter of the tournament. And down is a photo from
Winnipeg.
Winnipeg that I played in '67 and almost had some political problems with the Romanian Chess Federation and the Ministry of Sports because they would prefer, of course, that I could take part in a very important tournament in Cuba. And I was invited in Cuba also,
During
in
the
this
same time.
time, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
at the same time. And I had to refuse because they had the same planes. I mean, they didn't change the planes. And unfortunately, as you remember, we could have some very unpleasant moments during our trip to Havana and back, because of the planes that
They were
they
like
have.
old planes or
No, the
what?
planes were a little bit old, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and we have been very lucky that nothing happened during our trip to Havana from Shannon, from Ireland, then to Gander in Canada, and then to Cuba.
Why?
During our flight, I mean, we took off, and during our flight, after 2 hours, two engines were in flames.
In
And
flames?
yeah, so we had to come back, and finally, somehow we escaped. Nobody was injured, and so, but it was very big, very lucky. That nothing happened.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then when we came back, we had also some such moments.
But
We came,
was a company from Cuba or what company
yeah,
was?
the Cuban Airlines, of
Ah,
course,
Cuban
but the
Airlines?
the planes were, I think, coming from Britain or some, but they were old. And they had these planes and they didn't change them. They
Ah,
didn't
so
have.
you refused to take another.
No, I said that if you have some other planes, okay, I participate with pleasure, of course. Because I was invited personally by Fidel.
Yeah.
And then when they said that they have the same planes, I accepted to play in Canada, and okay, I played in Canada, of course.
Oh, nice.
Yes. No. But the
But
Romanians didn't like very much the idea because they said that our friends and so on, it was feel much better to play in Cuba, of course. No.
yes,
Yeah.
but in Canada at that time in Winnipeg was
It was very cold, very nice, but very, very cold. Yeah.
yeah, but also very a strong tournament, right? It was a strong
Very
tournament.
strong tournament. Yeah. So almost everybody was grandmaster there. Yes.
Who was playing here in Winnipeg?
In Winnipeg.
But where I mean, who was organizing this tournament?
Well, the Canadian Chess Federation.
Canadian Chess
Yes.
Federation?
It was probably one of the strongest tournaments ever organized in Canada, as I remember. And it was also a very big surprise because the tournament wasn't big success for the Soviets. I mean, Keres was playing there and Spassky. And the tournament was won by Larsen from Denmark and the grandmaster from Germany, Darga. That was quite a surprise. Finally, I took the fifth place or something like that. I was also playing very well, but I had a winning position against Larsen, and in time trouble, I made a mistake and I lost the game. And because of this, the final result was like this.
Yeah, big difference because of
But
one
anyway,
game.
the tournament was very, very nice souvenir because it was very nice tournament and very strong. And the region was beautiful and so on. But as I told you before, very cold. It's well known for Canada.
They are well known, especially
And
there in
Winnipeg
the
is always
prairie
cold
city.
enough. Yes. Yeah. Well, here again is the moment when I won the tournament in Hastings in 1967 or 68. This is the mayor from Hastings.
The mayor from Hastings?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, congratulating me. And then down is the moment when my wife and my father, received me at the airport when I came back from Hastings,
So Romanian
Down.
airport
Yes.
here,
Yeah, the
in
Romanian.
Bucharest.
Yeah. And on the right side, yeah, it was a very nice moment, of course, because it was very important success. To win Hastings was winning a very important tennis tournament. Let's say the Wimbledon, something like this. The same level.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And on the right side, we have Simon that I played in Holland in '68 after the important tournament from Beverwijk, from Wijk aan Zee. This was also, big rivalry with Hastings, the most important tournament from England, the most important tournament from Holland, and they came one after another, it was like this. And I played in both of them. I came undefeated. That was a very, very big success also.
So I see here you played the simul.
That was in Holland.
35 tables.
Yes. 30. Well, but in that time it was normal. When you are young, you can do it. Yeah. Here we have two nice photos from the Lugano Olympiad in '68. Very nice Olympiad that our team played well enough, and I finished undefeated on the first board. That was also very, very important success for the Romanian chess.
All right.
Well, here again, this is a special moment because it's my first tournament in Philippines in 1969, the Meralco tournament. It was a super tournament organized by the Filipino Chess Federation. I succeeded somehow to win the tournament with a perfect score. I mean, 11 out of 11. It was considered a very special moment by the organizers. And therefore, they organized a special parade down, you see, a military parade that caused a little bit of problems with the Romanian embassy. Yeah.
Yes, they organized this parade for you, for the tournament?
For me and for their national day. It happened to be then, in that moment.
At that moment. But who is in this picture here?
He's probably the main organizers, and then the officer was leading the parade, and so on. Yeah.
And you said there was like a...
Well, they didn't like very much the idea because it was in that time only Ceausescu could receive such a special moment, And of course, finally nothing happened because they couldn't see the moments. If they saw the Romanian
authorities.
Well, if they saw the moment, it was nasty moment for the Romanian ambassador in Philippines. But like this, nothing happened. Everybody was very happy.
So they didn't receive this picture at the time.
No, not at that time. Later on, they could see it, but it was much later. So finally, everything was okay. Well, here the moments when they gave me the cup and when I won the championship and so on, and the president of the Filipino Chess Federation giving a speech. And on the right side, the person on the right side is the chief of staff of President Marcos at that time. He was also. He was also playing a little bit of chess and so on. Yeah.
Nice.
And after this tournament, a few years later, they had a special chess boom in Philippines. And just in a few years...
So he played an important role to promote the chess.
Yeah, of course. Yes. And finally, they had their strongest team in Asia. And for a few years, about 10, 15 years like this, they were the leading nation in chess in Asia and one of the best in the world. And just in a few years, they had a few grandmasters.
Because of the support of the authorities.
Yeah, of course.
The government.
Finally, just in a few years, they had tournaments in such big tournament halls for 25,000 spectators. This is unbelievable for chess. No?
Yeah.
And chess was practically the second national sports in Philippines together with basketball. You know, yeah, it was
Yeah,
something special, of course.
that's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. Well, here the moment when I arrived in Manila, upstairs, and during the tournament, I was watching two of the Filipino players, and two of my future opponents, down. Yeah. Here we had the Olympiad in Zigen. I was watching, you see there, I was watching the game between Fischer and Spassky. They were playing together. And I was, watching this important game. And in
I see
Zigen,
many people do
yeah,
watching.
of course, but everybody, I mean, some spectators, and
Yes.
all the rest are
The players.
players, of course.
I guess
And
here Spassky either draw or win, right? Won because
no, I
Bobby.
think Spassky won in this this
also.
game. Yes, I mean, it is important because it's important to say that when they played the match in Reykjavik 2 years later, and Bobby became world champion, Spassky was the only player in the world whom Bobby didn't beat yet. I mean, the only person that he couldn't win against, until Reykjavik.
He waited for the world champion.
Well, and in this match, of course, was the revenge, and he won, and he took, the title from the Soviets. What was very considered was this special moment for everybody in the world. I mean, it was the moment that everybody expected, because until then,
only the Soviets
had a complete supremacy in chess. It was like their national sport, like this. And here in Zigen, it was our last encounter, between Bobby and myself, our fourth game. A very nice draw, very sharp, and very unclear until the end. And upstairs, we have the moment when we played our third game in Buenos Aires in 1970. This was also a little bit of a story, because it was played in special conditions. Bobby didn't arrive at the right time, and nobody knew exactly what happens. Does he come or not? And finally, he came with 3 days delay. I mean, 3 days later, and.
So already 3 rounds.
Already, my game against him was the third one. That was lucky for him, because they started the tournament. They had to start the tournament, and 2 important grandmasters accepted to win by forfeit. I mean, they didn't play, but they won. Finally, the game were replayed, and Bobby, finished by winning them, of course. And I refused to win by forfeit. If I accepted to win, Bobby was eliminated from the tournament, and of course the tournament would lose their star. The most important star.
But you had this option to accept the forfeit.
I could accept, of course,
yes,
but I said that no, of course not. How can you win like this, and especially against Bobby Fischer? Of course, no. I mean, I explained to the organizers that it was, unfair, let's say, and that I should play against him in any conditions, any time. And finally, okay, he came. He took his revenge. I mean, he played a fantastic game against me, but the tournament was saved. I mean, he could finish the tournament. He won convincingly the tournament. I don't know, 4 points ahead or something like this, and. Everybody was content, very happy, And finally, they found out. I mean, everybody else told him why he could play the tournament, because his opponent refused to win in such conditions. And we became, friends, let's say, and afterwards, very good friends later on, until the end.
He found out because you didn't.
Well, I didn't say, of course.
Yes.
I didn't say, but so the others, the chief of the tournament, the referee, the players, and so on. Everybody was a little bit surprised that I refused to win against Bobby like this.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't fair. Probably, if I won like this, Bobby couldn't play anymore, and I should become probably the only player in the world who had 2-0 against Bobby Fischer. But you can't do it like this. I mean, yes, it well. It depends. It
You
depends.
want
The attitude could be different. For some other players, maybe they should accept. I don't know. And also down we have another nice photo from Zigen. It was a game that I played against Grandmaster Tatai from Italy. Down. Yeah.
All right.
1970. And here is the well-known photo that gave Bobby Fischer to me after the Olympic Games in Ziegen with his signature, very nice.
To my friend, all the
to
best,
my friend,
Bobby
all
Fischer.
the best, Bobby Fischer. Yeah, this is very rare. He did it as long as I know for nobody. I mean, he didn't.
Oh, really?
Do
Like
such
a message?
I mean, it was very rare from Fischer
Yes.
to do such
Yeah.
a thing. Yeah. And that means that you are one of his best friends, that he made such a gesture like this.
Yeah.
No, he was really special in any aspect.
This moment from here maybe has a connection.
Probably, yes, probably. That, of course.
And he didn't forget.
No,
for
of course
sure.
not. I mean, it was a very special moment, and nobody would expect such an attitude.
Of course,
but it was. You can't accept such a thing. Of course.
Not you, Mr. Gheorghiu.
Not me. Yeah, okay. Yeah, depends. I told you. Well, here we have some moments from Australia. The first photo, the big tournament in Australia in Adelaide in '71. The other one on the right is during the Romanian Championship from '71. And the last two photos down are the photos from New York, my first tournament that I played in the United States in '71, in New York, both of them. And here again from Australia, from Adelaide, the organizer and some grandmasters, Grandmaster Brown from United States and Matanovic from Yugoslavia, and the three sons of the organizer, Mr. Lidums. And upstairs, the official photo from this time, from this tournament. That was also a very good result. I came second. Portish won the tournament. I was second. And this was probably the strongest tournament ever organized in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here we have a photo from Spain in '72, a very good year when I had the beauty prize against Anderson and a very important victory against Cochinoi. And down we have another important tournament in Orense in '73 that I won, and it was an important moment for my Spanish tournaments altogether, It was one of the strongest tournaments ever organized in Spain, together with Palma de Mallorca and Las Palmas. They organized a lot of nice tournaments in that time.
Nice.
Yeah. Upstairs, you have my wife. When I qualified for the interzonal after my good tournament in Helsinki in '72, the zonal tournament. And down we have in '72 a photo from the Olympiad in Skopje in Macedonia. And here we have 3 moments from the Spanish tournaments. Upstairs, the first photo is a game analyzed between Spanish master and Grandmaster Portish, and Larsen and myself looking as spectators.
Here is Larsen?
Larsen is on the right side, yes.
Okay.
And
here
we
is
look,
Portish?
Portish is together with Larsen, Larsen is on the right, and
Yes.
the guy who is watching the game with the hand and moving the pieces is Portish, the Hungarian Grandmaster. And down we have some free moments during our tournaments. Lars and myself and the camel, like this. And on the left side, again, the Danish grandmaster, myself, and the organizers, as tourists, like this, 2 free moments like this.
Yeah, beautiful.
Well, here we had a nice photo with Grandmasters Anderson and Smejkal in Palma de Mallorca, and then against the Spanish prodigy Pomar. He was a wonder boy because when he was already very small, he played between the very strong grandmasters, on the left side here, the second photo,
Here.
down. Well, we have the first photo up against, the first photo.
Petropolis.
There in Petropolis in Brazil. It was my first interzonal tournament. Unfortunately, I made some mistakes and I didn't come up with a very strong result. I was in the second half of the tournament, but it was a very nice experience. I had some mistakes that I could, follow and analyze, and trying to do better in the next big tournaments. And down again, we have an analysis during the important tournament from Manila in '73 against the American Grandmaster Lombardi. He was one of the few American friends of Bobby Fischer.
This person,
Lombardi and Evans were his both friends, the best American grandmaster and the best American friends, personal friends of Bobby.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, here we have 2 moments from the only tournament that I played in some African country. That was a tournament in Morocco that I succeeded to win somehow in '74. It was the Cup of the King organized in Casablanca in '74. King Hassan II organized the tournament. It was probably the most important tournament organized in Morocco. And
nice.
Here we have another tournament in Spain, upstairs in Montilla, I think. And the second photo is the trio of grandmasters, Vasyukov, myself, and Anderson during the opening ceremony in Manila in '74.
Vasyukov is from
Soviet Union, yes, of course.
And Anderson
and myself. And finally, I think Vasyukov also won the tournament, finally, later on, yes. Well, here was a big cycle in Chicago, I think more than 30 players in one of the biggest hotels in Chicago. And down we, Gligorich and myself, together with the president of the United States Chess Federation, after our tournament in Pasadena in Los Angeles, when we tried to speak with Bobby. I told you before when we analyzed the game against Tarjan,
yes,
that we traveled to Los Angeles only to see Bobby. Gligorich and myself. Yeah,
meet with Bobby.
Yeah, and finally we couldn't meet him because he was sure that the photographs and the journalists were waiting for him, and we had something to do with this, and he was a little bit upset. But finally everything was okay, but we didn't meet. We could only speak on phone. And unfortunately, the last time when I could see him personally was in Philippines in '73. 1 year before that,
1 year before this.
Yeah.
But he was in hiding in this period, right? He was like avoiding the press.
Well, a little bit avoiding the press. He had some bad experiences, I think, with the journalists.
I think he was arrested a little bit or something like that.
No, that came later on, after
was
the moment
in jail for 1 or 2 days, something like that, in the US.
Well,
I think.
much later. That happened in after '92.
After
much 92. Later, yes, much later. They had their match, the revenge match against Spassky,
No, before that. Before, I think.
No, before that, no. Everything was okay.
No, I think he was, but maybe
No,
I'm
that was
mistaken.
that was a special moment when they said that he refused to play the match against Karpov, and they took away his title, his world
Okay.
champion title.
Okay, okay.
And it was very unpleasant moment because it wasn't right to do something like this.
Yes,
But we
yes.
don't talk about this. It's a very complicated situation. So we met against the chief of the federation. We met in New York, speaking about this.
Who is
In the
Grigori?
middle is Grandmaster Gligoric, that
Okay.
one, and then on the right side is the president of the United States Chess Federation.
All right.
Well, here we had we have a tournament, an important tournament in Holland in '76. Down here we have a super tournament in Las Palmas, also in '76. And on the left side is the official photo from the zonal tournament from Vraca in Bulgaria. When I qualified, I won the tournament, and I qualified for interzonal again. The next year we played the interzonal in Manila in '67. In '76. In '76. Yeah. Here is Grandmaster Ostojic from Yugoslavia. The first photo upstairs, a tournament in Cleveland we played. And down, it's a tourist moment. We had in Sausalito, very near from San Francisco. It's a very nice small town in California, together with my wife. Here also, on the left side is the tournament from Lone Pine in '75 with my wife and a small cat that it was our special friend from Los Angeles. And down our first photo together in Washington in '75, and during a banquet in New York at the Hilton Hotel in '75, together with the leading persons of the United States Chess Federation. Well, that was my wife in Amsterdam on the right side, and in Hollywood in '75, looking at the star
stars.
all the names and so on,
Yes.
admiring all this. And finally here downstairs, I played a very nice game that I won against an international master from Holland, and grandmasters Tiemann and Ullmann are looking at spectators, very interested spectators, to see what happened during the game.
So here is Ullmann?
No, this was Tiemann.
Tiemann, yes.
And the other one on the left is Tiemann. Is Ullmann, pardon.
So Ullmann here?
Ullmann is there on the left side, the
here.
Second on left. No. That was the one that you showed is Tiemann. And down is international master Böhm, my opponent.
Yes.
Yeah. And the second on the left side is Ullmann. The left on the
yes.
The left one.
You mean this one?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one is Ullmann, yes. Analysis. Well, all these photos are from the interzonal tournament from Manila in '76. Well, another moment that I had against the rules, organized by the Filipino Chess Federation, planting a tree. Again, a forbidden gesture, for the Romanian side. Only Ceausescu could do it. Okay, I did it again. Again, a special moment for the Romanian embassy. I mean, dangerous one. I mean, jokingly.
Yeah.
And then, then again, some stamp exhibition in Manila.
It seems you are very popular in Philippines.
Well, I played many times in Philippines, and they were sure that maybe it's true that everything was possible for chess after our big, very important tournament from '69. When I won with a special score, 11 from 11. And then, okay, so I was a very good friend.
Well, they like it, and
yeah, they were convinced that everything could happen only because of this first important moment, So okay, I was
see
many
here.
times there on the left side. It was a special friendly moment with Spassky, with the ex-world champion, and
Where was that?
in Philippines
Also
also.
in
Yeah,
Philippines.
also in Manila. Every photo is from there, from the this interzonal tournament from '76 in Philippines. Very very nicely organized, and then you have some special. Chess pieces made for myself during the, every grandmaster receives a special prize. And
From
for me,
Philippines.
they did it, and that was a very nice moment because it was with your name and so on, and it was very nicely
Yeah,
made by,
looks very nice.
yeah, by them.
And also here I see all the
Yes,
signature.
all the important signatures of the leading grandmasters during the this interzonal tournament from '76. Yeah. Okay, the same tournament. The person on the right side is international master Stoica. He was my trainer during this important tournament. And upstairs we have the opening ceremony of the interzonal, when the drawing of lots, like this, the numbers and so on. Yeah. Well, here the left side, the left photo is a tournament in Le Havre in France. Immediately a few weeks after the horrible moments of Bucharest of '77, when we had the earthquake, and I donated the prize to the victims. When I won the important prize there.
This one here.
No, on the left side.
On the left side.
This, yes, and then two photos from an important tournament in Spain on the right side, and down, we have the tournament of Netanya that I won in '77, and it was a special moment because it's the Holy Land, in Israel, of course.
Okay.
And I could say that I followed the steps of our, of Jesus, of course. But it was very beautiful tournament, as always, And I had some very nice memories because in Israel I was becoming finally grandmaster. I made my first norm of grandmaster at the Olympic Games from '64 in Tel Aviv. Yeah, here we have the Olympiad from '78 and the big Clarin tournament also in '78, organized after the Olympic Games. And we had some moments at the chessboard, the last photo down, and two photos up, myself and together with my wife during some excursion, in the 3 days of the Olympics.
In Argentina.
In Argentina, yes, in Buenos Aires. Yeah, here again in Buenos Aires during the tournament, together with Grandmaster Torre and Grandmaster, watching the game of Grandmaster Brown, who is looking at his game, and up the special moments, the opening ceremony, and the last banquet of Clarin tournament and the Olympiad from '78. Here again, some grouped photos. Many grandmasters, all the players. A big photo like this. The Clarin tournament was probably the most important tournaments organized in Argentina 2 years in a row, in '78 and '79.
He is Najdorf, right?
Najdorf is in the center, yes, and myself is the last person on the right side. And on the first photo upstairs, I am in the center,
Here.
there, yes.
Yes.
Right.
But who won this tournament?
In '78, I don't remember exactly who won, but in '79 was Larsen who won the tournament, in '79. Yeah. And in '70, we arrived at the '79 also, but It was always very strong. The
I think
tournament was
some
very
of these
strong.
tournaments they disappeared. I mean, right now Argentina doesn't organize
They don't have too many tournaments. Well,
like
depends
that.
on who is sponsoring the tournament. If you have somebody ready to, to give the money for such a big event and so on, because the tournament was fantastic. I mean, it was organized
Maybe
in a
because of
fantastic way.
Najdorf was.
Well, Najdorf was their best player, and he was a legend. I mean, he was a legendary player.
Yeah.
Not only in Argentina, all over the world, of course.
Yeah.
He was old enough, but he was still playing very well. He was older than 70 here already, 74, 75, something like that, but he was playing very well. Very difficult to win against him. And here, the last photo down is an official photo from this Olympic Games from 78 in Buenos Aires. The third Olympiad that I finished undefeated. I played altogether 14 Olympiads for Romania. This is a true record, of course. And the two photos up, they represent two important successes in United States, in Philadelphia, and the other one in Lone Pine. Together, the left side is again together with Grandmaster Tarzan. And on the right side, it was during the tournament, the last round of Philadelphia tournament. In both tournaments that I could win. Yeah. Well, here we have again two nice photos from the Clarin tournament from 78. Myself together with Grandmasters Anderson and Torre, speaking some chess variation, well, jokingly, of course, and some of the wives of
The Grandmasters.
Grandmasters. I mean,
Yes.
from the left side, is my wife, Mrs. Keen, Mrs. Torre, and Mrs. Spassky in that time.
Kino was from which country?
Britain,
Britain,
England. Yes,
England.
yes. Yeah. Well,
Interesting.
yeah. Again, this is Clarin 79. Two important opponents, of course. I was playing against Petrosian and the second photo against Spassky. Two games very hardly fought, and two very good results. Of course, we might draw in both of them. I mean, considering that Petrosian and Spassky were two ex-world champions, the result is very good. And the spectator in both of them is Grandmaster Panov from Argentina. Looking at our games.
Panov?
Pano, yeah. Here, again, my game against Najdorf in 79. Yeah.
Where was this? In
Clarin tournament in 79. Yeah. And here we have also three important moments. My game against Tal at the Interzonal in 79. Unfortunately, it was the only game that I lost to Tal ever in our encounters, but it was my fault, of course, because a game where I should draw. If I could have a draw against Tal, it was almost sure that I qualify for candidates matches. And I don't know why I decided to play for a win. It wasn't necessary because Tal was leading and winning the tournament anyway. And in that moment, I was
so it was not
second.
a big difference.
No, it was a difference, but it was very important not to lose because if I made a draw, I was between the first three, and the first three would qualify for the for the candidates. And somehow I don't know, difficult to explain, blackout, something like this, And then the photo from left is during one of the most important games from the Interzolan from Riga. in 79. And the other photo is one of the most important successes that I had in that time. It was a super tournament in Novi Sad in 79 when I could win against many very important names from chess world, and it was like a small revenge after Riga, but it was a little bit too late. I didn't qualify. I missed the qualification for the candidates, but instead I won the super tournament in Novi Sad a few weeks later on. Well, it happens.
Yeah, it was the timing.
The timing was bad.
Yeah.
I should prefer to qualify for this.
So those were the time when the player can smoke during an official
of
game?
course. And Tal smoked a lot, and that wasn't good for his health, of course.
Yeah, but also for your health, right?
Yeah, for us. I mean, the guys who didn't smoke, it was not very well, but you had to accept. It wasn't forbidden, right? Right now it's forbidden. In that time was allowed.
Could his smoke come to you? Or
Yeah, of course.
Yeah?
Course. It was very disturbing. Yeah. Very disturbing.
Interesting.
If you didn't smoke, it was very disturbing.
Yeah,
of course,
yes, of course. It was a fight of the smoke also.
Well, you can imagine if you played, for instance, 16 players or 18 players and more than the half was smoking, you can imagine. Yeah.
It was like a bar in the good times, all times.
Yeah. Well, here upstairs we had the official photo in New York, the first time that I won the US Championship. We are there at the
Empire State Building.
Empire State Building, yeah. And down we had my photo against Grandmaster Ljubojevic, the interzonal from Riga. Pardon.
Yes,
from Riga.
Yes, from Riga.
Right. It was a very important game, and I could win the game. And it seemed in that moment that it's sure that I qualify, And later on, I made the mistake against Tal, and everything went wrong a little bit later on. Yeah.
Is the same one with here? The same tournament?
Yeah, the same tournament, the interzonal. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, here we have 3 very nice photos. Very nice, I mean, because it was a very nice tournament. It was the first time that I won the American Championship, the US Championship, my first title in 79 in Chicago. And the last photo down is during one of the most important games. And the other 2, the official photo when I won already the US Championship. And on the right side, the important tournament from Philadelphia that I could win in 79 also. It was many tournaments in the United States in a row like this that I was undefeated and I could win all of them.
So the US Open and also...
it was Philadelphia tournament and many others, we'll see some photos from other tournaments also, This is probably the biggest Open in history in the United States of that time. I mean, organized for about 10 years by a very important sponsor who was organizing all this between 70 and 80, for about 10 years. And it was the tournament from 79 that I could win. It was like winning the Forest Hills in tennis, something like this. Such a very big success.
Lone Pine.
Lone Pine in 79, yes.
Who was the sponsor? You remember?
Was Mr. Statham. Well, he doesn't live anymore right now, but in that time he was very important for the American chess, of course, because he was organizing that tournament. This is also a very important success in Lloyds Bank trophy in 1980 in London. And here my both colleagues, Sachs from Hungary and Shamkovic from United States, they congratulate me for this, for this win. I won the tournament, and we have the official photo where, both of them congratulate the winner.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's a nice souvenir. Yeah. Here we have the Saratoga tournament when I won the beauty prize against Whitehead, and the photo from upstairs. And then the photo down, all the biggest stars from the important London tournament from 1980. We have short.
Yeah, I like the picture of Short here because now
Yeah,
I know
short.
him
He
now.
was very young.
He
Yes,
was
of
very
course.
young here.
Yes. And then the third one. I mean, here we have Short, Steen, Korchinoi, Timan. A little bit. Yeah, Timan is the fourth one. Anderson, Ljubojevic, Miles, Spielman, Golombek. He was the referee, and myself.
Nice.
Very big tournament.
Very young Short.
One of the biggest names. Yes. Well, the first one is after a big simul, I think, in Chicago or in New York. I was giving some autographs, and the last two photos are from London. You know, the changing of the Royal Guard, and admiring, you know, the Westminster Abbey afterwards. You know, and the building of the Parliament in London after the big tournament that I could win in 1980. Yeah. And here, these are three photos from Baden-Baden. They had a special super tournament organized in 81 in Baden-Baden. I was playing against Grandmaster Honfi from Hungary. And the other two photos are during the 3 days of this tournament, you know, as two normal tourists, you know. This is also very probably the most important tournament of my whole career. You you know, surely the strongest, because it was the so-called tournament of stars in Moscow in 81. They had everybody playing there. I mean, all the world champions, the current world champion Karpov, who won the tournament. I mean, Kasparov, Smyslov, you know, everyone, Petrosian, and they had 8 Soviet players and 6, you know,
Invites.
I mean, some other grandmasters from other countries. I mean, and finally, I had the special souvenir because I could finish the tournament undefeated, and that was a special, you know, performance. It's very rare to not to lose a tournament in such a tournament in Soviet Union, of course. What one of the biggest successes. And upstairs we have the game between Kasparov and Geller, and Grandmaster Portish, Beliavsky, and myself looking, you know. And the other photo is the game between Karpov and Smyslov, and Beliavsky and myself as spectators looking at their game. Yeah.
Nice.
Well, here all the big names of the London chess tournament in 1980. Miles, for instance, with Seirawan and myself in the middle.
Seirawan, where is
Seirawan is the third one on the left, yes.
This one.
This one, yes. And then the fifth one is ex-world champion Smyslov, you know.
Here.
Yeah, right. And then 2 photos with my wife. The first one is in California in 1980 or 80 or 81, and the other photo is
in Holland.
No,
Netherlands.
the other in Netherlands, of course, yes. Or in Germany, I don't remember.
It is
No, on the left.
On the right, yes, Netherlands. On the left is saying
United States, of
yes.
course, in California, yeah, of course. Okay. Well, here again against Tal, but this time we played in 82, the last interzonal that I took part in 72 in Moscow. This game was very, very important, and it was a very sharp draw, you know, finally. And the other photo is against Grandmaster Beliavsky, and Kasparov was looking to see what happens in our game.
Interesting with Tal. I don't know how he will play today, if he will play today without Smoking.
Very difficult. I don't know because he smoked a lot, and finally he had some lung problems and finish in a very unpleasant way. Finally, he
Because of
he
the.
yeah he disappeared because of this. Yes. And of course, here again we have some beautiful moments. The first one up is the Super Tournament in Indonesia in '82. The second photo is probably on the right side. What does it write?
It's saying in Spain.
In Spain, of course.
Barcelona.
In Barcelona. Then in the middle we have a very important tournament in Biel, in the most important tournament in Switzerland that I won in '82. Many grandmasters also, and down also as a tourist also in Biel. I mean, special moment in the old town. And on the right side, Kasparov, Tal, and myself during their game. I mean, Kasparov against Tal, the interzonal tournament in '82. And I was looking to see what happens, of course. Yeah, here we have the tournament in Novi Sad in '82. I was playing against Grandmaster Smejkal. Then on the right side, a free moment at the Lucerne Olympiad in '82. And down my game against Grandmaster Karpov during the Lucerne Olympiad in '82 in Switzerland. Well, these are the moments from some German tournaments. The match between Semyonova and Mureșan, they played in Bad Kissingen in '83. And I was leading the Romanian delegation there. And in the middle, we have the trainer of Mureșan, Master Namțu.
Here?
Yeah, there. Yeah. Then during some important game analysis after the game, speaking about the variation and so on, what happened and how and why. And then on the right side, the moment that I won the Baden-Baden tournament in '83, and on the left side, together with my wife in Heidelberg in '83 in Germany. Well, here again, some important moments. On the left side, we had some analysis, special analysis, of course, with Grandmaster Korchinoi seated and Spassky and Kudrin, who is looking from, there, and myself on the left side. And then during the New York tournament in '84, the second photo up.
Yes.
And the last photo with many people, there is the Super Tournament in Zurich in '84, organized every 25 years, very special tournament. And well, I played very well, and I came second ex aequo here, but it was a pity because I could win the tournament if I won against Korchinoi, the last round.
Yeah.
I had completely winning game against Korchinoi, and I let him escape. I don't know, it happened somehow. I wanted to win very quickly, and instead of this, I could wait a little bit and win without any problems, So finally, he saved the game, and I came only second. Unfortunately, but it happens,
So
it's a pity. It's a pity because it was played only 25 years, every 25 years.
And it still exists, this tournament?
I think it exists, but we have to wait a little bit because afterwards, after this tournament, they had another one in 2009. And now the next one has to be in
34.
In 34,
Yeah.
If some players live until 34, they can play, of course.
Yeah.
It's a very special tournament. They organize only 3 or 4 tournaments until now, I think our tournament from '84 was the second. Yeah, the second. 2009 was the third, and now the next one will be in 2034. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Well, some special tradition like this,
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, here with Mephisto Cup on the left, the many tournaments, open tournaments in Germany, all together. You have to play 5 or 6 of them, and who played better won the cup, finally. So I won 2 or 3 out of 4, and I won the complete edition. And then finally there are 2 moments on the right side in Interlaken in Switzerland, down after some interview here in Bucharest on the left side, and on the right side in Brussels in 85, together with my wife.
All right.
Here it's a special tournament, very good one for the Romanian chess, because it was the first time and the last time that the Romanian team played for the World Championship, Team World Championship in Lucerne in 85. Very good result. We came 4th, 5th, something like this. It was a fantastic result for the Romanian chess. And that was probably the best Romanian team that we had forever, let's say, in that time.
But why last time? Why?
Because it didn't happen afterwards.
We didn't qualify.
We didn't qualify. No, it was very special moment.
So who was the second strongest here in the?
The second stronger is Shuba. Shuba is the second from the seated players.
Seated.
Well, I can tell you all the names. I mean,
Okay.
the trainer is Reicher here. No, on the left.
Here.
Reicher, Shuba, myself, Ghicescu.
Okay.
On the right. And then Ionescu, who was the secretary of the Romanian Chess Federation until now.
Okay.
Stoica, Ghinda, Bărbulescu, and Grünberg. Grünberg was also, the second trainer of that team. Right. It was a good team, and unfortunately, we didn't have Ciocultea because we lost Ciocultea 1 year before that. He deceased. I mean, he was sick, and he died. But it was finally our best team that we could present, in that time. Yeah. And here we have another special moment from the Mephisto Cup in Germany. It was the most beautiful game that I could play in that time. The first photo up, and then 2 moments from Spain on the left and from Holland on the right side.
Do you remember this player? Who was?
I think his name was Schlamp. We have his name in the book. We have the game, and very, very nice game with many sacrifices and so on. Well, the name doesn't tell you anything because he was a normal international master, but the result of the tournament was important.
Yeah. True.
Well, here we have down a photo against, together with the chairman of the International Chess Federation, Mr. Campomanes, down.
Yes.
And the other photo is together with Grandmaster Ghicescu and Grandmaster Mureșan during the Dubai Olympiad in 1986. Yeah.
So Campomanes
was the president of FIDE, of the International Chess Federation. Yeah.
And he paid a visit here?
Yeah, he paid a visit in Romania, and they had a congress, something like this, and we met and we talked, and we had very good relationship because I knew him from my tournaments in Philippines. Yes. Well, here we have some moments. The photo from the right side is the last tournament that I could win as in the Romanian Championship in '87, the last time that I became Romanian champion. And then on the left is official photo from Altensteig in Germany, and down again from Altensteig, a special occasion, to mix a little bit and have some friendly moments with some other participants in this tournament in Altensteig in '87 in Germany. Well, here, after winning the important tournament from West Berlin in '88, and together with Namcu, he was the trainer of Mureșan, I told you before, and Grandmasters Benko, the second from left, and Ciburdanize. In that time, she was the women world champion, and they looked at our analysis. I mean, it was such a moment.
Ciburdanize, which country? Georgia or?
Georgia, yes.
Georgia.
Yes. She was very strong. One of the leading women in the world in chess history. I mean, together with Caprin Dashvili and Judith Polgar and Susan Polgar, they represented probably the best players in chess history for women. And now, of course, they have some Indian players, the Chinese players, and so on.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, here a big simul organized in I don't know, up which is the country?
89 is Mendrisio.
In Mendrisio, in Switzerland, yes, in the Italian part of. Well, after a big tournament that I won in Chiasso, and then down is a moment from Austria in Vienna. Well, we were like tourists, Doina and myself. And on the right side, the photo from right is a big tournament in Palma de Mallorca, just a few days before Bucharest Revolution, and I could come back with one of the last planes who could, arrive in Bucharest, because afterwards the
revolution started.
The revolution started. Yeah, we arrived 1 day or 2 days before that.
Just in time for the revolution.
Before that, yeah.
Okay.
Well, here is the first time that the club where I played, I took part together with my team colleagues, the Schwarzweiß from Bern. We won the team championship. This is the second tournament as importance in Swiss chess, and the other two photos are the only tournament that I played in Turkey, in Kuşadası in 1990, immediately after the revolution from 89.
Yeah.
Here, all the players, I mean, men and women, the two Romanian teams, preparing to arrive in Novi Sad in 1990. It was my last Olympiad that I played for Romania.
So you are the senior and with the new generation.
Well, together, yeah, all together, yeah. And then on the right side, during some speech for the Yugoslav television after the Olympiad, and down we had an important tournament in Ticino that I was between the first three with Grandmaster Belotti and Grandmaster Gallagher from Switzerland, both of them. And the other two persons are the organizers, Well, here, two happy tourists in Istanbul and in Cappadocia. And here, during the last important game from Lenk, the important tournament in Switzerland that I won in 1990, and the moment, taken by the photographs to celebrate, the moment that I was winning the tournament. Yeah. Well, here also some important moments from the Swiss chess world. I mean, after winning the second time the Team Cup, after winning some other tournaments in Chiasso, and playing a simul on the right side in a small town in Switzerland called Ville. And after this moment from Team Cup, Yeah. Well, again, some important tournaments in Switzerland. I was playing a lot of tournaments in Switzerland, as you know. And that one on the left side is the most important because that represents the moment when our Bern team won the Swiss championship. That was very important um, because we were a little bit the outsiders. It was a very big surprise that we won, but finally we could win, and it was very, very good for that club, of course. And then some other moments, in Berner Oberland, in Gstaad, a very big hotel in Gstaad, the Palace Hotel. And upstairs, when we came the decisive game in the final of the Team Cup. So I was the first board and I won, and okay, everybody was very happy. Yeah. Here, by after the the tournament from Liechtenstein in 87 that I could win. And then it was a simul against three computers, against three machines, that I could, in that time you could win against the computers. Now it's impossible, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last photo down is the Chateau de Chillon, is one of the big attractions of the Swiss Riviera, and it was a photo that I could take together with this well-known castle, from in Montreux. Yeah, this is the official photo of our big success in the Swiss Championship upstairs, with all the members of the team, and the last photo down is one of the important tournaments in near Zurich, together with Grandmaster Tukmakov and the Grandmaster from Hungary, the first three players. Yeah. Well, celebrating the success from the Swiss Championship and winning the championships from Zurich and from also the Swiss Championship. Okay, the Zurich Hilton Championship, and finally here normal photo from Lugano, from Lausanne, and up one of the last important tournaments that I won in Switzerland, in Fribourg, in 2000.
All right.
Well, and here, of course, some of the nicest cups collection at home, and upstairs in Montreux, celebrating the victory of one of the most important tournaments in that time.
Yeah. Mr. Gheorghiu, was very nice to go through.
Yeah, to remember all this. Yeah.
And thank you for sharing
with
us.
It's something special, of course, after so many years. Right.
It's beautiful.
Well, after so many years, we can remember a little bit.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah.